Okay. Hey, everybody. We're just asking everybody to put their roles. Good to see you, Jason. So put your role where you're located because that way Karina and Venusia, who are going to be speaking to you, it'll help them when they're presenting. And for everybody else to see kind of who's here as well. And there we got the professionals talking to you about AI, aka students.
Yeah.
Both of them have great majors in curriculum. They're on our curriculum team. And so we're excited to have you guys all here. And I think it's right at 101. I think we got everybody in. We are going to be recording this as a playback. It's being recorded right now. It is being recorded. That way there'll be a follow-up email with this playback in it, along with some free resources for you. With that being said, I think Venusia, if you want to start sharing, I'll let people start coming in when they get here.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, and you two want to introduce yourselves too, as well.
Yes. So, hi everyone. My name is Venusia Jamir. I'm an intern here at Digital for Good, and I'm also an undergrad student at UCLA, and I'm studying education and social transformation. And I'll be presenting this webinar with my teammate Karina.
Hi everyone, my name is Karina. I'm also an intern at Digital for Good, and I'm currently a grad student at the University of Pennsylvania. So I'm studying learning sciences and technologies. Today I'm very excited to be here to talk about how AI is shaping and transforming the education. So it's so good to see you. Very happy to see you here. Thank you.
Okay, great. Just to start off, we wanted to ask everybody to just comment this in the chat, or you can say it in your head if you'd like. Just how comfortable are you with AI? Me personally, as a student, I'd say I'm about a 4. I'm pretty comfortable with it. I'd say, especially with my generation, we definitely grew up with it. But there's definitely some new things and new tools that are coming out, and I'm still getting very much used to using AI, especially when it comes to schools. And
Yeah,
when it comes to, oh, go ahead, Karina.
sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I already saw a lot of comments in the chat, and it looks like most of us are feeling very comfortable or very comfortable with using AI. So that's very good to hear.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's going to stay with us in education. So it's good to know that everyone's pretty comfortable with it. And so when it comes to AI in schools, I'd like to think of it kind of like this iceberg. We first kind of think about AI for being used for cheating or plagiarism and stuff, but there's a lot of things that actually go into it. One of them being cognitive offload, which is basically when students just have the AI think a little bit for them. You know, when students are learning in the classroom, there's a lot of growing pains and there's a lot that they can learn from their mistakes. But having AI do a lot of the problems or the work for them can result in them just not, thinking as hard as they need to in order to move past some mistakes that they might encounter. There's also the issues of misinformation as things, AI tools like ChatGPT doesn't always give 100% factual information. And there's also the use of deepfakes, which we'll go into a little bit later, but it's basically when you can take a media of a person or a picture and make them say or do things that they never actually did. So you could take a picture and take the person's face and put it on another person's body and say, that's them. And it looks very seamless, which can definitely be a problem. And there are, though, some positive aspects of it, like personalized learning. AI can take the data that students have used from test scores or assignments and actually give them personalized feedback or even personalized problems so that they could solve those and grow on their own using using the feedback that they got. And so first we'd like to ask, again, feel free to put it in the chat. How have you seen students and educators use AI? Me personally, as a student, I've seen students brainstorm with AI when they're feeling stuck on essay topics. And I've seen educators also use it to enhance their lesson plans to kind of go with the like growing world that we have today. And another question is, what is your biggest concerns about using AI in schools? One of the biggest concerns that I've personally heard is similar to the cognitive offload, in which students are not growing through their mistakes or problems they might encounter in school, as they're having AI immediately solve it for them, which kind of stunts the learning growth that they have. And so before we get into AI use in schools, we'd like to look at how AI is used outside of it. And it's actually pretty integrated into our everyday life. Even something as simple as using Google Maps when you're going into, an unfamiliar territory or you're going on a new trip. It's very easy to just look at Google Maps to tell you, what are the best places. And a lot of these are generated with AI. And another simple way that many of us know is just through calorie tracking. It can be very tedious and just take a lot of time to count, specific calories, or if you're trying to get more carbs or protein into your diet, whereas AI can just scan a barcode, or you can just give them your goals and they'll be able to give you a personalized diet if you'd like. But when looking at how it works in education, we can see it's definitely changed from how it was before to now. Now we have ChatGPT, there's more accessibility for using AI. And even looking at the statistics, we see how in May 2024, almost half students from ages 12 to 18, and as well as almost half of teachers use ChatGPT at least weekly. And we can see that it's only going to go up from here, as it was a 25-point increase from the year before. And so seeing this, it's better to kind of see it as an acceptance and see how we can utilize it for education rather than trying to ignore it or push past it, as it's integrated to educators and students' lives already. And additionally, education is what sets students up for the workforce. This is definitely something I think about, and I'm sure Karina does as well, as we're college students and hopefully entering the workforce soon. And so teaching about AI in education will actually help prepare them for the future opportunities that they're going to have. And looking at the statistics from the World Economic Forum, it says how 85 million jobs will be displaced by AI by 2025. And so we're already in 2025. And so this is something we already see happening. But 97 million roles will also require AI proficiency, which is why it's important to start at the educational level so they know how to use it responsibly and well for the upcoming workforce that they're going to go into. And so to start, we want to talk about creating an AI policy. But before we do that, we want to make sure that the students are involved in this and show that there's some level understanding between students and admin about creating AI policy. And from this quote from Principal Kip Glazer, it shows us how many students don't actually know where the lines are between using AI. And as you can see here, they discovered during their investigations into cheating that students were genuinely confused because they thought tools like Grammarly and other AI assistance programs were allowed. But no, we know that they're not, but we need to create strict and clear guidelines so that there's no confusion and students also don't feel like it's an unfair policy put on them. But there are many gray areas, which we can also see on this spectrum on the left. And so at the bottom, we see an assignment that's fully human generated. And so it's an assignment fully completed by the student without any help of AI. Whereas at the top, we can see the other extreme where it's fully written by AI and it's copied and just turned in. But there's a lot of stuff in between. Whereas in the middle, we can see a student could have written the main ideas, but let AI just simply improve it. And does that count as cheating, or is that going to be a problem? The student doesn't really know, which is why it's really important to address these gray areas. And one of the ways to do this is using AI strategy. And one of the ways we came up with this is by having an AI syllabus. We all know syllabus is when we first start off in the first week of school. The teachers discuss what is expected of the students and what responsibility they have in the class. But by attaching an AI syllabus, just another addition to their already completed one, it can help students have a reference to go back to when they're having assignments to complete. And it also takes away the secretiveness of using AI in schools. So the student can feel comfortable to go to the teacher if they're thinking of using AI to make sure that it's allowed, or can also just prompt a class discussion about it to see where everybody's heads are at and how everybody can talk about using AI and how they feel about it. And so there's a concrete piece of paper and guideline that students can go back to if there's an AI syllabus. And another way is by building student self-efficacy. It has showed with the data that when students are feeling confident in their abilities and feeling capable of doing assignments on their own, they're not really going to reach for AI to help them out or just complete it for them and turn it in. They're going to feel like they can do it on their own and use the tools that they've learned in class to do this. And so by using those two frameworks, it can really help first just have a clear AI policy, but also show students that they're more than capable of doing it on their own if you'd like. And then another way is just through class discussions. These can be more AI proof, and they also help, just engage with your peers and increasing peer interaction. And these are a little bit more AI proof, as it's not something you can just ask ChatGPT to solve for you. And one of the ways that teachers have already been doing this is through the Revision Chrome history extension, in which you can see the edits that the students have been making on their essays, or you can see if they just copy and pasted an entire essay, which is a little bit more suspicious and causes for concern. But I think it's important that the teacher can reach out and have a discussion about it. So again, the student feels more comfortable about, maybe if they did use AI, explaining that they did or how they did, and there's an understanding between them rather than feeling more hidden and scared to talk about it. And so first we want to address some students' misuses and risks with AI. First, as we know and talked about, is just cheating and plagiarism. And we can see that this is something that teachers are really concerned about, as 1 in 5 teachers in the EdWeek survey said that they were concerned about using AI for cheating. And again, like we mentioned, students may just simply not know what is and isn't allowed. And so that's why it's really important to create a clear and concrete AI policy about it. 2, another misuse of AI is just deepfakes, which I touched a little bit on earlier, in which you can take an image of somebody and make them say or do things that they've never done. And this is something that's very prevalent already, as 40% of students and 29% of teachers already know of a deepfake associated with somebody within the 23 to 24 school year. And of course, most of the victims were students, as we can see in this New York Times headline of teen girls having to deal with an epidemic of deepfake nudes in schools. And so it's really important to address these AI issues as they're coming. And one of the ways to address deepfakes is by updating anti-bullying rules and policies so that it can explicitly include the creation or sharing of deepfakes and show that it does count as a form of bullying or harassment, and there's very much going to be consequences for this. And having, again, that laid out can show students that neither the school nor the student has to hide away from using AI, even when it comes to the negative aspects like this. And another way is to just inform parents about deepfakes and encourage them to monitor their children's use of technology. When parents are involved, they can help make sure that this isn't happening in the home either, and it's heavily discouraged at school as well. And this kind of goes into the third point, which is restricting access to it during school and on school devices. This way, the school and the district can do everything they can in their power to make sure that it's heavily discouraged or just not allowed on school property. And many students spend their time within school already. And so this can, again, just heavily discourage the use of deepfakes. And another one is just addressing the bias that's in AI. And according to one study, there's actually a lot of gender and racial bias that already exists in AI output. For example, when prompted to discuss things like struggling versus star students. And so it's really important to address this so the students can be wary and have much more of a digital literacy when it comes to taking information with AI. And so they know that it could actually be biased and how they can differentiate between sources that are actually believable and trustworthy compared to sources that may just be biased, but the AI is just presenting it to them in a way that just seems believable and is very fast and efficient. And so there are actually some good fruitful uses for students. It's not all bad. And one of the ways is using generative AI to actually augment projects. Many students have projects or presentations just like this one, and they can actually use AI to make images that are actually aligned with educational content. And one of it is the picture we have here where they just asked AI to generate an image of Harriet Tubman helping slaves escape through the Underground Railroad. And so this is just the first image it generated, and it's by no means perfect or might not be exactly what you're looking for, but it's kind of an example as to creating a visualization for students or for the classroom when there are certain topics that you can't exactly have pictures for or images on hand. And another way is students can use AI to brainstorm. Just like we mentioned on that continuum of using AI, there's a lot of gray areas, but one of the ways that you can positively use it is through brainstorming. And in this example, we can see a high school student is asking ChatGPT about writing a autobiographical story of themselves, and ChatGPT just gives them some ideas without exactly writing it for them. So the student can write about a defining moment or a challenging time or something when they learned or a time when they learned something important. And so through these ways that the student can use it for a positive output rather than feeling like they have to depend on AI for writing the entire essay for them. And lastly, they can use AI to get feedback from on their writing. And so there are times when peer feedback or teacher feedback is just not available. And this could be on the weekend or just not during school hours. And the AI can take the essay and give them specific feedback, maybe using a rubric or saying, could you pay special attention to my grammar or my sentence structure? And this way, the student can work on specific areas where they feel like they might be lacking, and they could also improve their grades and their essay while asking for feedback. And so next, my teammate Karina is going to be talking about some fruitful uses that it has for teachers and administrators.
Okay, thank you, Venetia, for sharing. As we all know, AI is not just a helper for students, it's also becoming a co-designer, co-planner, and a co-reflector for educators as well. So today I will introduce two AI platforms. One is called Comigo, and the other is called AI for Education. And I share some practical strategies for using AI in your daily practice. So the first one, Comigo, is a free AI assistant for teachers. It helps teachers generate the lesson plans, the quizzes, the discussion prompts, and also rubrics and instructions and more, all customized to your goals. So teachers can sign up for this platform for free. And you can see there are a lot of functions on this platform. So let's take a quick look at the lesson planning. Yeah, so you simply enter your topic, let's just say high school biology, dihybrid cross. As you can see on the left of this page, and you select a format like inquiry based, and the AI will create an outline with driving questions, group tasks, and reflections. And also you can even choose the level of detail if you want to get a more developed lesson plan. So this really saves the preparation time for teachers and also encourages more instructional inspiration. Another great tool is AI for education. You can find this prompt library under the resource hub on the homepage. So its prompt library offers the ready-to-use prompts for lesson creation, student feedback, communication, and even professional development, etc. So you just find one prompt that looks good to you, copy and paste it into ChatGPT or any other AI tool that you prefer, and you can adapt it for your needs. There are also some excellent platforms that offer free AI curriculum for both teachers and students. For example, AI Education, the platform we just mentioned, it provides the free and hands-on courses to help educators get ready for teaching with Gen AI. It also offers webinars like innovation series and a video library that explore the evolving role of AI in education. So you can explore more resources in this platform. And Code.org, which is more student focused, offers the beginner-friendly AI courses for grade 7 to 12 students. So teachers can introduce these courses to the students so they can learn how AI actually works, and they can develop the classroom AI use policies together and even practice distinguishing fact from fiction. Skills that are getting more and more important in today's digital world. And next, I'd like to share a few tips for teachers on using AI platforms and tools in their teaching. So the first tip is how you prompt determines what you get. Here I quoted the words of Thomas Berger, and he's an American novelist. So he said, the art and science of asking questions is the source of honor. As we can see, the question on the left is that, can you provide me some examples of what realist views of the war? And this is for a secondary social studies class. So this question, it adopts a broad perspective on realism and war, offering a general theoretical overview that can be applied to any historical or political context. We can see it also clearly identify the target student group and the subject area, so it makes it more well-suited for the theoretical introduction phase of the lesson. In contrast, the question on the right, it focuses on a more specific historical event, let's just say World War II, and applies the realistic framework to explain it better. So it makes it more appropriate for the practical application phase. So I personally believe both of these two question types serve different pedagogical purposes. But ultimately, the choice of framing should be guided by the specific teaching goals and classroom context. Next. You can also generate some class quizzes with the AI tools or platforms. Just make sure the learning context is given so the questions generated are more aligned with what the students have actually learned. Also, by asking AI to generate quizzes and telling it to avoid choices like all of the above and try to include more distractors that require conceptual reasoning. So this can help with the quality of the quizzes. And here we will show an example from the using ChatGPT to develop the low-stake quizzes. So here should be a prompt that is borrowed from the prompt library. So you can notice how detailed instructions lead to more authentic and higher order questions in the quiz. First, you can, next one. As teachers, you can also use AI to combine the reviews class and the new learning classes. So this facilitates students to connect what they've learned with what they're about to learn. So making your lesson flow better and feel more connected. for student assessment, AI can help. Thank you. For student assessment, AI can help analyze the student work using natural language processing. It checks for things like use of key terms, concept understanding and reasoning, and even critical thinking. So tools like Comigo and Plastic, they're already helping teachers monitor these learning progress. So here I quoted the words of Martin Luther King. He said the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. So it's very important to note that AI primary does not always reflect the true depth of the student thinking. Like some students, they may have very strong conceptual understanding, but they struggle with their expressions, while others, they may write fluently, but without fully understanding the materials. So AIs can just be served as a diagnostic mirror, in my opinion, is not a substitute for teachers' insight. That is why the best practice is to use AI as a support tool guided by human judgment. One thing. And also, I want to add that AI can foster the collaboration in learning by suggesting the group roles, like assigning tasks to the students according to their different learning situations, and offering some real-time feedback and helping students refine their questions and even documenting their group work for later reflection. So finally, for school leaders, AI actually helps with data analysis, like survey results, and the visualization for presentations or promotions, and planning teacher PD or innovative events. For example, analyzing Google Forms on AI use can surface patterns that shape the strategic decisions. So finally, in conclusion, I want to say AI is a powerful partner, but it's not here to replace us. Its greatest strength lies in collaborating with educators and students, sparking ideas and helping us focus on students' learning and development overall. So yeah, I think that's all for our today's information sharing. Thank you so much for your listening, and I hope today's talk gave you some inspiration and tool suggestions that you can try out. So now it's our Q&A time. Please feel free to ask questions or thoughts or comments. Thank you.
Please stay on too. We're going to go over a couple other things for you guys if there's anything else. But yeah, any questions for them? They put this in there. Again, AI is one of those things where it's like all over the place, but these are the students who are being raised in it and learning all about it. It's fun to see what they're coming up with them using AI as well. Any questions? Venusia, can you unscreen share and then re-screen share? Because I just refresh your slides because I added just a slide in it. So because I had a couple people private message me some questions. I want to make sure I do address it. So while she's doing that, what I did put in the chat is making sure your teachers do know. If you can then refresh Venusia and then just reshare. Make sure they do know that teachers cannot encourage students to use AI unless you guys have a school district
Kim, we cannot hear you.
Okay, my bad. Thank you, Karina. The big one that some people were DMing about that had questions was um, you cannot ask a student to use AI unless your school district has officially approved an AI system to use, like Gemini. Okay, because the information that they are tracking and sharing, that is a COPA law, right? So making sure that none of your teachers are asking the students to use it, if your district hasn't approved it, but knowing that they are using it, right? They're using it for all kinds of things. So they gave you the tools knowing that students are using it and how you can kind of manipulate around that. That is a big thing with the COPA laws. I want to make sure I pause. Any questions on that, please? You can unmute yourself now too if you want to personally really ask it or put it in the chat. We're happy to do that. That's a big one. Great. If you can go to the next slide, because this is a big one as well. If you can go to the next slide for me, Venusia. Oh, isn't it fresh in your end? Here, why don't you stop screen share and I'll share on my end.
Okay.
Thanks. All right. There was a new law that was passed. It was passed in May 19th, effectively immediately by the by President Trump. It's called the Take It Down Act. So what does that mean, right? It's federal crimes. So any kind of intimate images, right? So like all those what do you call them? Where the relationships where they break up and they had nudes of them, if they're kind of using that, and then also any kind of AI generated. So this is a crime that they can actually now press charges. So it's good for you to making sure students do know that any kind of deep fake is now illegal. What I'm hoping that's images. I'm hoping that's going to start changing to audio because I'm starting to see more deep fakes being made as an audio rap, where we'll use Venusia as an example, where they're like talking about Venusia in a negative way and they make it into a rap, right? And so that is where they're doing it. They're exposing all of Venusia's deep, dark secrets in this rap. And they're using AI to generate that. So we're hoping that can keep changing and making that. So just you can see, this is a huge win because it's so hard to pass any kind of federal law. So I'm so glad this was passed back in May. It's up to 3 years in prison with fines, right? So just make sure you guys do see this. It can also penalize platforms. Actually, I was dealing with a school district that had this at the end of the school year. They dealt with one of their employees was taking pictures of girls. It was an aide was taking pictures of girls and then was having an imagery thing. Was some of them times using the AI, sometimes wasn't. Was arrested right there on the scene. So this is going to go into effect because that happened in May. One of the free resources we are going to follow up with you. If you haven't gotten this yet, it's our free policy suggestions. You guys should be making sure it's students do better when they know the black and white, right? What is okay and what isn't okay. And so what I actually do with the Missouri Admin Association, MOASP, is we kind of listed all the admin were telling me what are all the problems, and I kind of by what schools reach out to us. So it was everything from recording of fights, sexual images, photos in bathrooms and changing facilities. That includes when they're vaping and they're taking pictures of themselves vaping, creating hate pages, AI misuse, and then it's listing what you could have in your planners, right? It's giving you ideas of what you should put in your planners because students do best when it's very clear on this is misuse, right? Like they were telling you before, a lot of students don't know it's illegal to use Grammarly. That's just a normal tool that they use on the daily, and they don't know if that's against your policy to use in your language arts class, okay? So it is nice if they actually are very clear and transparent on the policy there. And then when you come down to this section where it says artificial intelligence there, if you click on that, we didn't want to overwhelm you, but we gave you a few, there's only a couple in there. If there's other ones that you guys want to send me that you thought were helpful, it's just to give you a few examples to kind of get your school district going on that idea. Okay, so that's one piece that you'll have. We did re-update all of our curriculum with actually Karina was on this team where she kind of got a look at everything, help make us this even better. Like how cool is that? Really giving us, so this is where we're at, really adding a lot of AI stuff to our curriculum to help you teach students about it. All of our lessons are meant to be peer-to-peer, where it is peers teaching the peers. They're all interactive, they're engaging. I think the best compliment I get from students is that wasn't lame. Thank you. I will take that compliment. So just showing you our map on that end of our curriculum. So I'm very excited of the changes that we've done there. Please take a look at our program packages if you guys are interested. Have virtual, of course, to keep the cost down because I know money is tight this year. We have all kinds of different stuff. The train the trainer model is working. So what that one is if you bring us into your school district, if you can have up to 6 schools, or else we charge you more for each school after that. We bring in schools in, we train you on our curriculum and 4 PowerPoint presentations that they're able to train all the students at one time. You go back to your schools to then go train them, right? So it's that trainer model. We train them to go back to your schools to do. So that is more schools are using that. We're finding that the most effective and getting more schools onboarded. Our next webinar is coming up July 29th. It's all about the phone-free campuses because I know quite a few states. I think there's now 21 states. Don't quote me on that, who have gone to phone-free policies or expecting school districts to implement something about phone policies. That'll be the free document that we're going to give out. It has some great advice of what you can do with the phone-free campuses on that part. Okay, so you are not alone with handling all these online issues. Please stay on. I'm going to be on here if you guys have any questions, if you want to unmute yourself. But the recording with these handouts will be sent to you afterwards for joining us. Thanks for spending the time with us. Thank you, Karina and Venusia, for doing a great job presenting. You guys are amazing. And thanks, shout out to Tori, our former intern, who's now doing her doctorate in about AI, which how cool is that?
Thank you, Tim. Thank you,
we have a
everyone.
Yeah,
question.
thank you so much.
Yeah, we have a question in the chat. I mean, it's okay to post or publish the policies. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Yes, please. We want you to reshare any of our free content that we push out to you guys. All of our paid stuff is the stuff we can't share without getting that piece. Perfect. All right. I think anything else? Please unmute yourself if you have any questions. If not, I'll close it out. Okay. I think we're good. Thanks, Karina. Thanks, Fiducia. Good job, everybody. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, too. Bye.